Good day, and welcome to the podcast. This is an exciting time because normally I would have a video blog, but this is actually a podcast, which is why I haven't really had too many video blogs lately. Actually, that's not true. The reason I haven't had many video blogs is because I'm fucking lazy. That's pretty much it. So anyway, this is the first podcast we're doing here. It's exciting. It's going to be great. It's going to be weekly. Yes, it's going to be weekly. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you couldn't even fucking do a video blog once a month, let alone once a week. How the fuck are you going to do this? And I say I have no idea. But I will be here weekly. I also have a co-host. He's masked to protect his identity because his family doesn't want rotten fruit thrown at him in case the podcast sucks, which is entirely possible. We joined it in progress because, we did a lot of technical discussion about a book called Who Built the Moon? Here it is. And it seemed to be way too technical, and there was no point in boring people any more than they needed to be. They're going to be bored plenty by the rest of the podcast. So we're going to join this bad boy in progress. This is the first podcast once again. It is, I don't know what date. It's May 8th. I'm Raven, your host of The Raven Effect. The hostess with the mostest. And the hostess with the hostess Twinkies. Thank you. Enjoy the following not performances. The following material. The following stuff. It will be enjoyable, entertaining, fun, frolicking, fancy, frilly, exciting, enjoyable. There'll be laughter, frivolity, hijinks, shenanigans, bamboozling, hoodwinking, and stuff like that. Stuff like that there. Enjoy. Good day and welcome to the podcast. Yes, usually it's a video blog, but today it's a podcast. The very first installment of the Raven Effect podcast with my co-host here, the masked co-host. He actually does talk. He's not a mute, but he's on mute right now.
Push my button, baby.
There he goes. He's not actually really talking. It's a ventriloquist. He's got a monkey's hand up his ass, surprisingly. So anyway, today, what's today?
Today would be May 8th.
May 8th. The reason my co-host is under a mask, under a hood, is to protect the innocent, to protect his, for retaliation, to protect his relatives, because if this thing sucks ass, he doesn't want them being hit with rotten vegetables.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Eggs,
or rotten vegetables.
Absolutely.
Or rotten vegetables.
Plus, I need to...
or rotten fruit.
I need to keep my identity somewhat under wraps until I get the go-ahead from the Emperor.
Yes, the Emperor. We will address this Emperor issue at length later on in the broadcast, or not if we forget about it, and then maybe next week. What have I been doing lately? Well, you notice I haven't been doing very many video blogs, have I? I've been quite, what's the word?
Dormant?
Yeah, dormant. I've been dormant. I'm not a doormat, although I'm actually a little lazier than a doormat, to be honest. Or a dormouse if this was Alice in Wonderland. But nonetheless, the reason I haven't been doing any video blogs is because I was coming out with the podcast. Now that's a lie. The reason I haven't done any video blogs is because I'm fucking lazy. But that's neither here nor there, because now we will be doing a weekly podcast. Yes. A weekly podcast. And I know some of you are out there thinking, there's no fucking way that Raven can do a weekly podcast. I wouldn't even bet bi-weekly. Hell, I would mortgage my house thinking he couldn't do a monthly podcast, but you would be wrong there, sir. Yes.
That's why he brought me on, so that I can remind him.
To remind me.
Every week.
Every week, by God. We'll be here every week. Perhaps in a different location, perhaps on the road, perhaps somewhere at the Masked Man's secret location. But nonetheless, we'll be somewhere.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Or in a Gata In a Gata baby. Don't you know that I love you?
You didn't tell me you were going to sing.
I didn't know I was going to sing.
I didn't sign on for this.
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't sign on for that either. You're actually quite the singer, my friend.
I don't know that person.
Do us some vocal impressions.
I can't do that.
All right. Well, today we are going to discuss this book. Who Built the Moon? Yes. The moon is man-made, my friends. Yes. And that's not just some fringe theory nonsense put out by psychopaths, lunatics, freakazoids, numbnuts, knuckleheads, and dum-dums. No, this is actually put out by two men. Could have been two women. Could have been two transgender. But no, it's two men. And they put. I like to read about stuff like this. This megalithic structures, ancient aliens, stuff like that. But none of that bogus crap like Sasquatch. There's no way there's a Sasquatch or a Yeti or a Bigfoot, although there could be.
I think I saw a Sasquatch on my way over to your apartment or your house here today.
No, that was me on the toilet.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so this book, you would think to yourself, who built the moon? My goodness, who could have built the moon? Why would they have built the moon and whatnot? But this is some fascinating factoids here that I would like to go on and address. What page? As you can see, I'm well prepared, as always. First of all, wait, where is it? Oh, here we go.
See, I get all my stuff from the History Channel, and they had an Ancient Aliens program that talked about this theory as well.
Did they? I didn't see that episode. I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah, I believe so. Or I might have imagined it.
You could have imagined it. Although I did miss a bunch of episodes when they went to H2, and I didn't, and they don't list it in the TV Guide, which you actually have a copy of TV Guide in your office as reading material. Although who would actually consider TV Guide reading material is beyond me.
Who has an office?
Good point.
Especially someone who does.
I have an orifice. Okay, so now this is fascinating. What they discovered is that all those sites, Stonehenge and all those places that were built back then, they all had I mean, this is, not like Egypt where they already had measuring stuff and whatnot. They found that everything was measured out perfectly, which you would think, how could you make anything to measure some sort of, with some sort of statistic perfection? Because, there's, what are you going to measure it against, and how are you going to continue to keep this? And so they found, well, actually some other guy discovered it, that that there was this thing, and they call it the megalithic yard, and it's a measurement. It's an actual measurement, and it is so statistically accurate. It's actually more accurate than the foot and the meter when it's compared geodetically, which is what has to do when it has to do with a measurement of the Earth. So anyway, so then they found out that they, through pendulums going back and forth, that that's how they were able to make this, and then through that, some other stuff, and then, so then anyway, they moved forward and getting zippity-doo and all that. They got to the Earth and the Moon, and they found out that, first of all, that the ratio of the Moon to that of the Sun is 400, meaning that, and then the Earth, the number of times the Moon is closer to the Earth and the Sun is 1/400th. So let me rephrase that. I didn't like the way that was phrased there. Okay. The Moon is exactly 400 times smaller than the Sun, yet it's precisely 400 times closer to the Earth, which means you can have a solar eclipse, and a perfect solar eclipse, which cannot be had on any other planet in our galaxy, or any other sun that we know of, or star that we know of. Not only that, the Moon revolves at exactly 1/100th of the speed that the Earth turns on its axis. These are all perfectly whole numbers using these megalithic yards, which is really fascinating that they would have these perfectly whole numbers, but that's not it. The number of rotations in an Earth year is 366, as we know. Well, 365, but in a sidereal sidereal year, which is actually using a star for to go around, was Wait, I gotta figure that out. Hold on, I can't ever explain that properly or pronounce it properly for that matter.
It's such a simple subject. I mean, I can
Where's sidereal? Hold on. La 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 la. Oh well, fuck it. Anyway, suffice to say, yeah, the sun goes around. We go around the sun 366 times a year. With the leap year and whatnot and all that bullshit. But no, actually, when you go around, when you measure from the sun, it's because of the way the Earth goes around the sun and its movement. When you do it, damn it. I had it all figured out in my head, and now I can't. I should have brought a different book with me to look at. But anyway, who cares? So just go with me here that the Earth goes, number of rotations in an Earth year is 366. The number of megalithic yards in 1 milligram second of Earth is 366. The percentage size of the moon to the Earth, 366%. The ratio of the size of the moon to that of the sun is 400. The number of times the moon is closer to the Earth than the sun, 1/400th. The number of megalithic yards in 1 milligram second arc of the sun, 40,000. The number of kilometers that the Earth turns on its axis in a day, 40,000. The number of kilometers the moon turns on its axis in a day, 400. The number of days in 366 lunar orbits, 10,000 exactly. The number of megalithic yards in 1 milligram second arc of the moon, 100. The number of times the Earth rotates faster than the moon, 400 times. All these numbers are all perfect integers. I mean, within 99.5%. I mean, the margin of error is so astronomically slight, and yet they're all these perfectly whole numbers and all very similar. Now, this is even more interesting. The ratio of the size of the Earth to that of the sun is 109.28. The number of Earth diameters across the diameter of the sun. So basically, you could fit 109.25 Earths across the diameter of the sun. The number of solar diameters across the Earth's orbit at its aphelion, which is its furthest point, 109.26. This is fascinating. The sidereal days in one lunar orbit is 27.322. The percentage size Earth to moon, 27.322%. The size of the moon in kilometers is 10,920.8, which is also just like the 109.25, 109.26, and this is 10,920.8. It's all fascinatingly similar. Are you entertained? Raise your hands, kids.
I gotta wake up, dude.
All right.
You threw a lot of numbers at me.
I know, that's why I had to baffle them.
I have a feeling that for those of you who have not fallen asleep yet, please wake up. And so what you're saying is that someone made that
Yes.
in order to do this.
Yeah, someone must have made the moon to have these figures because they're so statistically improbable. In fact, they're beyond statistically improbable. They're statistically impossible.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was there an ability
Ow, my shoulder
to
hurts. I got to get adjusted.
do you get adjusted?
Yes. Ridiculous chiropractor.
I was wondering whether or not there was an ability to measure other moons on other planets, and if in fact the statistics were that.
They tried. This is the interesting thing. Very good question. They tried to measure. They measured all the other. No, you're not. Not that anyone would know because you're wearing a mask.
Yes.
Anyway, they tried to measure. They tried every other planet in our solar system, and none of them, and every other moon in the solar system, and none of them have any of these kind of perfect figures. Only our sun, Earth, and moon work out to these same exact perfect numbers. In fact, the moon is actually extremely large for our solar system. It's one of the largest moons we have, and yet it's also extremely light, which is very interesting. Because it's like hollowish in the middle. Hold on, let me see what else here. You know what?
I think ancient aliens did develop something.
I think they might have, even though I didn't see that one.
That's okay.
But anyway,
We can make it up.
let me see what else here. So the question is, why does an ancient system of geometry and measurement used in the Stone Age work perfectly on the moon? And if our moon did not exist, by the way, nor would we. Experts now agree that higher life only developed on Earth because the moon is exactly what it is and where it is. Because first of all, the moon holds us in our orbit which is tilted at a 23% angle. And if we weren't at that angle, then we would have no change of seasons, because that's why we have a change of seasons, because we rotate all cockamamie-like. The moon holds us in that orbit because the most other planets, they have like, Neptune, has like a 60%, then it flops to a 0, then whatever. They keep flopping and changing the percentage of tilt. Our tilt doesn't change because the moon holds it in exactly that same place. So I just think that's fascinating that if the moon wasn't there, it wouldn't do that. Also, if the moon wasn't there to hold us at that tilt and also to give us the tides, we would never have been able to have, the little, the little pond where the lightning bolt struck. And
are you talking about the evolution situation?
Yeah, when they started.
From reptiles.
From pre-reptile, from pre-life.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-life to life.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had those little eddies of pools of water and so forth. Hold on. I have lots of pages cut out here. I really didn't do any homework, though. I should have.
If you cut them out, how can you read them?
That is interesting.
Just saying.
Fascinating. So let me go back to this again. Okay. If we multiply the circumference of the moon by that of the Earth, the result is 436,669,140 kilometers. If we divide this figure by 100, we arrive at 436,669 kilometers, which is the circumference of the sun. How fascinating is that?
I think someone was working on this.
This is fascinating shit, motherfuckers. See, on Joe Rogan's podcast, they discuss this, but they actually have scientists who know this stuff instead of idiots like me trying to explain what I barely remember when I read it. But it'd be much more fascinating. What else? Let me look at. Oh, you know what? Ow, my shoulder fucking hurts. I'm getting shoulder surgery in June. I can't wait because my shoulder hurts. Did I mention that?
How's your shoulder doing?
It hurts. Also, interestingly enough, listen to this. The moon is actually, hold on, wait. Okay. The moon is proportionally bigger in relation to its host planet than any other in the solar system apart from Charon, the Pluto's moon, and Sharon Osbourne. Wait, what is that? Which is more than half the diameter of Pluto, but that's just because Pluto's fucking small. And they're basically like twin planets or asteroids orbiting each other at close range. Mercury's got no moons at all, neither has Venus. Mars has 2 moons, but they're tiny in comparison with our own. Close examination of the many samples of the moon rock brought back by the American Apollo mission and the Soviet unmanned has thrown up what turned out to be one of the biggest surprises of all. It has been observed that the oldest of the rocks collected from the moon are significantly more ancient than any rock ever found on Earth. What the fuck? How about that?
That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
I thought that the whole moon thing was a work.
What won't work?
Well, we went up to the moon. I thought it was all.
No, I think we actually went to the moon. I was listening to Neil Tyson deGrasse, the physicist from the New York Planetarium or whatever, and he says it'd be more trouble. He goes, it'd be easier to go to the moon than it would have been to fake it. And then he explained why. And then basically, Joe Rogan had to give up his theory that the moon was a con job, was a fake, was a work.
So the whole, you say the whole pageantry around filming that, no dice.
No dice.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to be more enthusiastic here. This is the first podcast we've done, and it's already off to a horrendous start.
Well, I mean, do you want me to be more enthusiastic?
Yes, more enthusiastic.
I'm
Try to stay awake. Try to stay awake.
Sorry.
The most venerable rocks to be found on the Earth date back 3.5 million years, while some samples from the moon are 4.5 billion years old, which is very close to the estimated age of the solar system. Okay, that wasn't that fascinating.
It's the chair. It's making me go sleep.
What's that? I told you, that's the sleepy chair. You have to sit forward, otherwise it'll put you out.
This is the sleepy chair.
It is. All right, that's enough about the moon. Anyway, this is a fascinating book. Who built the moon? Who built the moon?
Who wrote the book?
Christopher Knight and Alan Butler. Well, I don't even get paid by this. Oh, you want to know something? One other thing that's really fascinating is this interesting thing about the barley seed, right? Who gives a fuck about a barley seed? Well, it turns out, where is it at? The barley seed. All right, we went on to that demonstration. Let me get past that part. According to Sumerian texts, it was considered that there were 10,800 barley seeds to the unit of weight known as the mana. The weight of water held in the double mana, assuming, was blah 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 blah. Where is it at? Basically, they used the barley. I'll just cut to the chase instead of trying to read the facts. The barley seed they use as a seed of measurement. It actually is a perfect measurement and stayed as a perfect. All the barley seeds back then were all exactly the same size. They were able to use it as an actual measurement.
Unit of measurement.
As a unit of measurement, and it actually tied into the megalithic inch, to the megalithic yard that we were discussing before. It's really fascinating shit.
Was Monsanto genetically modifying those barley seeds?
No, I don't think they. Well, they might have. That's because maybe they went. Well, the only thing in this book, the only problem with this book, well, there's probably a couple problems with it. Is they decided they wanted to come up with a theory. They said, all right, if the moon was man-made, why? We need to come up with a theory of how it was man-made. So there are a couple of theories where aliens did it, that God did it, or that we went back in time and did it. Which would make it a paradox. I had a pair of dice once, but I got busted in the casino because they were loaded.
If you had a pair of docks, you'd have a lot of boats.
Yes, I would. Or a pair of dockers. But I would never wear dockers.
They're quite comfortable sometimes.
I would never wear dockers.
I understand. I was under the impression that, according to South Park, that there were alien network guys that were actually watching us here on Earth, and we were a reality TV show, and that's why the moon was artificially made. You
know what? Here's the thing, though, is it's actually there is a possibility that the world's actually very Matrix-like, that we are actually. What is it? We're a hologram of a fifth dimensional world. No, what is it now? That as we can create a hologram, that we are actually. If you're not in your head, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm halfway there.
Explain it better.
What?
Go right ahead. Jump in.
Oh. Well, I mean, it all goes through the time-space continuum thing. I wasn't quite sure about the holographic situation.
No, I do a lot of quantum physics reading as well. Yes, I do. It's true. No, really, it is. Anyway, but that we could be like a hologram, and in a third dimensional, we're in a four-dimensional space, so that we're a four-dimensional space hologram from a fifth-dimensional world. Which is very fucking confusing. So let's skip that. Let's move on to the next thing here.
Well, I mean,
let's not.
If you think about it, well, hold on. I'm getting enthusiastic.
Oh, good.
Then
I'm getting a little wood too.
You might talk about, kind of like a Terminator situation.
Yes.
Where Terminator came back to get John Connor, but then because he knew John Connor. There's a lot of that cool stuff. There's a lot of good movies like that.
Well, that's the whole thing I find fascinating about paradoxes is, okay, so suppose you go back in time and you shoot your grandfather. Well, then how does he have? Then he doesn't have your father because he's dead because you shot him before your father was born. So then your father could never have been born. So then you never were born. So how did you go back in time and shoot your grandfather?
Hey, I saw a Star Trek like that once. Remember the old Star Trek?
Yes, I do.
The one Star Trek movie. No, it wasn't a movie. It was actually one of the older series where they had to go back in time, but I forgot all about it. So I guess we're back 1,000, aren't we? We're back. Hey, are you entertained?
Perhaps next week we will prepare more material other than bringing along two books that I thought might be fascinating.
And an interesting hat and a very, very colorful mask.
All right, I'm going to discuss this about the pyramids here. This is an interesting book here. The Giza Prophecy. I was reading it backwards on the screen. It didn't look right. By Scott Creighton and Gary Osborne. And what's fascinating about this is, hold on here, is that every measurement of the Great Pyramid of Giza is either a measurement of pi, which is 3.14, or the golden ratio, which is phi, P-H-I, if you know your Greek and your math, and it's 1.6. 1.618. And but all the measurements are that. And what's really fascinating, hold on, where's the page where I had it? I had the page cut out. La 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 la. Okay. So the if you look from the wait a minute. We've got new tag team champions. That was who's that an impression of? Is
You got me, dude.
but no, is that
I'm lost at the measurements of the moon.
I don't know. The all right. You know what? I don't even care. I'm not gonna even tell you about this book. Just buy the fucking book. It's fucking fascinating. I even had pages. See, look, I had pages marked off. But you know what? I'm not gonna tell you about that because you can read it yourself. I am gonna tell you this though.
Would that be Gordon Soley?
No. Wait a minute. No, it is Gordon Soley.
It's Gordon Soley?
Yeah, we've got new tag team champions.
Wow, talk about a shot in the dark. I'm gonna go play the freaking lottery on the way home.
Yes, maybe you should. You know what I hate about I love having a Mac. See, I should have just stuck with the off the cuff, but instead I thought that perhaps I should do some homework, which I didn't do any. I did barely enough homework just to be totally unprepared. So I'm just better off doing no work and being completely unprepared. All right. I love Apple computers. Apple computers are the best because you need no spyware. All you have is one plug. Everything's set up. You don't need a bunch of crapola. The only thing I hate about computers is they go to sleep. So when you're filming something like this and you're looking at the screen and all of a sudden it goes, and it doesn't even do that. It just goes, and it goes off and the screen cuts out and then you're fucked. So I have to remember to keep holding on to the mouse with my hand. I got big fucking hands, don't I? And
I know what that means.
yes, it does. And
Big gloves.
yes, it does. And I have to keep moving the cursor every so often so it doesn't cop out. That was fascinating. Now I'm going to tell you an interesting story.
These guys are loving this shit.
No, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I had a friend of mine who actually had, I don't know if you ever heard of this, as a doctor, as a man with a PhD yourself. My friend had iron sheik boot dick disease.
Iron sheik boot dick.
Yes, his dick curled up in the front, like the Iron Sheik's boot. Yes, his Iron Sheik. I don't know if that's the actual official, the layman's term for it, or the medical term for it.
It might be known as curly priapism. I'm not.
Is that what it's called?
No, I'm just making shit up, actually. But
Iron Sheik boot dick disease.
Iron Sheik's,
Or we just called it Iron Sheik boot dick for short.
Well, it couldn't have been that short if it curled up like that.
No, it couldn't. That thing, it was a weapon.
Well, I bet you if he kind of squeezed real hard, it could push straight out, and then like one of those. But
I remember I seen one time, and like just the birthday
Happy
party.
New Year! Are you guys entertained?
I seen this picture one time when I was like 15, and I was just, what the fuck? It was an African man, and that's not to be racist or anything, but African men were gifted, and the guy's dick was tied in a knot. It was tied in a knot. Can you imagine your dick being tied in a knot?
What did you see this on? Some kind of National Geographic?
No, it was I don't know. It was some picture somebody had. It was making the rounds. Like now it would just make the internet. You know what I mean? And you'd email it to your friends. Well, then you just I think you made a Xerox or a mimeographed copy of it.
Pass notes to each other.
And then you'd pass it to your buddy. But or maybe some one kid had it and everybody wanted to see it. Because it was fascinating. And anyway, but the guy had his dick was in a knot. And can you imagine how long your penis would have to be to go into a knot?
We were
can
talking
you
about
or
the
not?
moon at this point. Why is it always got to denigrate down to dicks?
Everything turns into a dick joke eventually.
For God's sakes, pretty soon we'll be talking about stool size.
No, stool size. Nobody wants to talk about defecation.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. Okay.
I will say this about the subject: is anybody who's into defecation, that is one fucking strange kink.
You mean that they just like to do it, or?
No, that they like to have it sexually involved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's way off. That's so far off the board for me that I don't get that at all. Then that's all I want to say about that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. There was always all those jokes about like Dirty Sanchez and all this other stuff.
There's nothing wrong with a Dirty Sanchez now.
I'm just, you go and you look in the book, you find out Dirty Sanchez. Oh, jeez!
I one time gave a girl a clean Sanchez.
Is that right?
I swear to God. It's actually a fascinating story. There I was in the wilds of Africa. No, I don't remember who was the girl. I'm trying to think.
You really want to tell her name on the internet?
Well, I'm just trying to remember. No, I'm not going to tell her name.
Childhood friend?
No, I mean, I just would like to remember who she was. But I don't remember. Anyway, actually, no, I don't remember. No, I don't remember. So anyway, somehow the subject of Dirty Sanchez's had come up. Because me and my buddies were like, that was the funniest thing going around at the time. The first time you ever find out what a Dirty Sanchez is.
Yeah.
And so I kept telling the girl I was going to give her a Dirty Sanchez, and she's like, "Fuck you! You're not giving me a Dirty Sanchez."
She actually knew what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
She was an enlightened.
So then I went to catch it and give her the Dirty Sanchez, but there was nothing on my finger, so it was a clean Sanchez.
It was a whiff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess yes. Just it was a swing and a miss. So that was kind of like a whiff.
Well, I mean, you tried to give her a whiff.
Well, I think she got a whiff of nothing because there was nothing on my finger. And if you don't know what a Dirty Sanchez is, look it up. Do your own homework like I didn't. I was listening to this other podcast today, the Bugle with John Oliver and his comedy partner Andy somebody or another. It's fucking hysterical.
How would you like to be the guy that no one can ever remember
your name? Yeah, he's the Andrew Ridgely of the John Oliver tag team comedy team.
Andrew Ridgely, nice.
Which would have probably been funny if I would have went George Michael's partner, whose name I can't remember. But unfortunately, I remember shit like that. But anyway, so they were talking about apparently the Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, made it to #1 on the UK Top 40 chart because Margaret Thatcher finally died.
Heard about that.
Yes, and apparently she was not well liked whatsoever. She was a cunt.
Well, they put her over really big here in the States back in the 80s. They did. Well, Ronald Reagan put her over.
Okay.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Hey, it all depends. As you all know, it depends on who you're watching and who you're listening to.
Haters are gonna hate.
What you're gonna read. They put her over big, at least back when I remember at that point. Another country heard from.
I'll pass this call for later.
Okay. Because we would rather talk to you.
Yes, to you, the viewing audience, you people at home who are wasting your time doing nothing.
There's a special place in heaven for each and every one of you.
All right, so let's go back to the...
So saith the guy with the Slayer t-shirt.
Let's go back to Who Shot the Moon.
Can we talk about Jeff Hanneman?
Yes.
Okay.
Who do you want to talk about?
No, the guy died from Slayer. Jeff Hanneman.
I didn't even know he was sick.
Yeah. So, I didn't know whether we were going to do like a Wayne's World thing here today or like a That Metal show or,
But isn't he anti-Semitic?
I heard about. Well, I don't know any guy who writes the lyrics to the song "Angel of Death" about the Holocaust and all that stuff. You have to at least figure.
Why?
I don't know. You just guess.
Yeah. Oh wait, I was watching this comedian.
Kind of like a glorification.
I have to interject here for a second. I was watching this. Wow, these chairs are comfortable.
Oh, jeez, I can't wait to come back and sit here next week.
That's when we take off for rocket speed.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm at.
Let's try and do that together. Hold on. Ready? Okay, ready? Go.
Whoa!
You gotta have the head back with the eyes.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
All right. Anyway, I was watching Anthony Jeselnik, that comedian, and he was telling, his jokes are very mean-spirited, which I love. And he goes, what did he say? He goes about the Holocaust. He goes, let me see if I get this. He goes, my mom, she was not a Holocaust believer. She thought the Holocaust was a complete work, that it never happened. And then I took her to see Schindler's List, and then she still didn't believe it. And You know, it's not that she didn't believe it happened. She just couldn't believe they didn't do it again.
Wow, that's stiff. That's stiff.
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
That's a very funny joke. I do not get it. So back to the Slayer guy.
Oh yeah.
So what happened?
He got bit by a spider about 3 years ago. And this is the
Did
only
they
thing
steal his curtain away?
I don't know what. I don't know if Alice Cooper's, Alice Cooper sicked the spider on him or what the story was. His curtains away. Yeah, he supposedly had a spider bite over 3 years ago, and he had gotten pretty sick. He had actually a flesh-eating, a necrotizing disease.
Was it radioactive?
Not.
Did he not get superpowers?
Yeah, he didn't turn into the Hulk. As a matter of fact, he kind of got wider, and he looked real frumpy and dumpy after that. But it's
so actually, for real, so he got bit by a spider.
Bit by a spider, and he came up with this kind of flesh-eating disorder, and he was kind of in and out of the hospital. He would go on tour, but then he would get sick again, and finally,
That's fucked up.
It's crazy, because I mean, how many times have you ever heard about that?
Just now.
Yeah, see, there it is.
But he's an anti-Semitic, kind of what he gets.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe call him. I know. Was the question is I got to pick from one of the shows.
For me, saying that now, saying that that's what he deserved, we'll be getting all kinds of
Well, you're gonna get heat.
We're gonna get all kinds of mail. Except luckily we have no address to send any mail
That's
to.
very good. Yeah, is there a comment section here?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe.
That's quite good. Yeah. There was a pic.
You gotta get in closer.
Shit.
You gotta get in closer.
I can't get so close to that. I may get radioactive. Where's the camera? There it is. Can you see? It's bright. It's got a big H on it with a sword through it for Hanneman.
Sword?
A sword. Right? And then on the other side has this picture of a guy that I thought was Curly. Yeah, you say no Curly. Huh?
I don't think that's Curly. No, let me see. Let me see who that is. I think that is
Is he Uncle Fester?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, no, I'm going with Uncle Fester.
Alfred Largecock?
Yeah. Back to the cock thing. Right.
Alfred Cockadoodle-Doo? I don't know who. I think it's Mousy Tongue.
Mousy Tongue. Oh my God, he was a real licker, wasn't he?
Yes.
So, anyway, Jeff Hanneman, thanks for the memories. We appreciate you. We enjoyed the Slayer while you were with us, and well.
So is the band done for?
No, they got the guy from Exodus, actually, the guy who started Exodus as opposed to Eczema. And I unfortunately I forgot his name, so I came unprepared too. The lead guitarist from Exodus is playing. He's toured with us a couple tours.
What about Pantera? Did
that band's no longer in existence.
ever since Dimebag Darrell passed away?
You know he got shot.
What's that?
He got shot.
I know he got passed. Didn't he die from that?
Yeah, he got shot on
That's what I
stage. You want to talk about dying on stage? Good God.
Yeah, it's just stand-up says you're supposed to kill. So,
yeah.
but you're not supposed to
Get
die.
killed.
Yeah, you don't want to die.
No, that was a great guitarist.
Who?
Dimebag. He was a great guitarist.
Who do you think is the greatest guitarist of all time?
Oh my God. The guy.
And you don't include me in the list.
Okay. Dick Dale.
Really, Dick Dale, the surf legend?
Yeah, man, he created. If it wasn't for Dick Dale, there may not be any metal guitar. I mean, he was the guy who really nobody ever really gives him the credit that he was.
What about what's his name? The guy who the guitar is named after?
Les Paul.
Fender. Yeah, Les Paul. Freddie Fender.
Freddie Fender. Yeah.
Wasted days and wasted nights.
He played some mean licks.
No, but seriously, what about Les Paul? How come he wasn't like a? How come
He's a legend. Yeah,
but he didn't like jam or anything though.
I mean,
Like, why did he invent the electric guitar but never really played any like, rock and roll crap?
I really can't answer that.
Now, I bet people like looking at the side of my head when I have to turn back to look at you. How can you pull forward?
All right, well, fine.
Pull forward.
I'm afraid. I don't want to get too close.
You don't want to get too close to the camera?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like standing too close to the microwave.
What happens if you stand too close to the microwave?
Well, you get a lot of microwave action.
Really?
Yeah, you could sterilize yourself.
Nah.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Really?
It was on Ancient Aliens.
No shit. I don't care.
There's a lot of conjecture, and there have been a lot of theories in regard to microwaves and how they affect us.
Really?
Yeah.
More so than the than wearing tight underwear? Supposedly tight underwear will keep your boys from swimming too good.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like
Crimster style.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need a bigger, a pool or a pond.
Pool, pool or a pond.
Yeah, yeah.
Pond would be good for them. Natural spring waters.
Absolutely, but obviously, the briefs will kind of enclose the pond.
Right. Yeah. You would think that would keep them warm, and then that would be better.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're sleeping though. Because you have to have cold water, right? Obviously, cold water would increase sperm count. So, you know.
Wait, why would cold water increase sperm count?
Well, because it allows the testicles to move further away from the body. Actually, I'm sorry, bring them closer to the.
To stay warm.
Yeah, you gotta stay warm. You bring.
Yeah, but if
like
they're already staying warm anyway, though. What's the difference?
I don't know. You know, we might have to go ahead and ask a doctor.
You know, I'd like to recommend some movies that I haven't seen yet.
Kind of like the books you haven't finished.
Now there's a movie that I have to see that I haven't seen yet. It's called. I was listening to an interview with Bobcat Goldthwait, and he directed this movie called Let Sleeping Dogs Lie, and basically it's about this girl who who is in a very stable relationship, and she's in love with the guy. I guess she's gonna get married, and so she wants to come clean on her past. And one time when she was in college, she got kind of fucked up, and she sucked her dog's dick.
Wow. Now, why would somebody do that?
Well, I don't know, but the premise is awesome. Like now, how do you got to tell you? Now, what would you break up with the girl if she was the perfect girl just for sucking a dog's dick in high school and college?
What did the dog do in order to go ahead and get that action? I mean, think about it. Guys are trying to go ahead and get that level of suction, right? They've got to spend money. They've got to do all that. The dog, what was he doing?
Hold on, hang on. Let me look it up here on IMDb.
Was he lying on his side in a provocative manner that turned her on? I mean, think about that.
I don't know. I haven't seen a movie. That's the whole point. Where's that? Hold on, let me see. Here we go. Let's see, IMDb. Okay, let's see. A youthful, impulsive sexual encounter opens the door to a dark comedy about the complexities of honesty.
Good God, this shit is real?
Yeah.
I thought this was a work.
No. And here's the thing. Okay, an impulsively sexual encounter from her past haunts Amy, an otherwise seemingly normal young woman with a bright future and nice guy fiancé, but her fiancé has suggested that the couple will be completely honest and tell each other everything. When Amy finally relents, encouraged to tell the truth by her coworker and mother, neither of whom really knows what she had to disclose, and reveals her secret, all hell breaks loose. And it turns out I don't know why. I would have thought she'd let the dog eat her out before she'd suck the dog's dick.
You mean like a peanut butter kind of
Yeah,
thing?
exactly.
Hey, come here, guys.
Seriously, if you're a girl, would you rather suck a dog's dick or have the dog eat you out?
Well, I've got 3 dogs at home.
Bestiality on the first podcast.
Good God.
The
subjects we touch on.
Yes, but I haven't seen that movie though.
I'm glad. Hey, I still want to know what the dog did. I mean, how did he get that level of
Dog's
action?
got game.
Guys want to know.
Dog's got game.
Good God. There are guys, probably, unfortunately, a lot of guys watching us, they're saying, what the hell did that dog do? Just saying.
So,
I guess I have to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's like, there's another movie I want to see, but I really don't want to see the movie. I just want to, Kristen Stewart is?
Yeah, the actress, true.
Yeah, the douchey actress, real douchey cunt who can't act for save her life.
She's always less than jovial. It appears.
Oh yeah, she looks like she just ate a lemon.
Yeah, maybe ate the ass out of a skunk, I would think.
Or the ass out of a skunky lemon.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she's hot though. She really is hot, and just her bad attitude is very sexually enticing.
Mm.
So in that movie On the Road, the Jack Kerouac story, which I really have no interest in seeing whatsoever, but apparently I think she's either topless or naked, and she jerks off 2 guys at once. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind. Like, I'm not a big porn watcher, but I wouldn't mind seeing her jerking off 2 guys just to see her getting filthy like that, because apparently it's quite graphic. And to see her naked.
Were there dogs involved?
What's that?
Dogs?
No dogs.
Oh,
No dogs. But yeah, so I kind of want to but I don't want to waste. Who the hell wants to waste $6 to see the movie? I don't want to see that rotten piece of trash. But I may have to if I ever do set up an email account for people to email me, maybe they can just email me the clip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to send them a regular email address because then I'll get flooded with all kinds of crap.
And I'm sure that won't come with a virus.
Not on Apple. Not on Apple, baby.
See, there you go. You know, there are things that we speak about here that have some level of redeeming social value.
No, they don't.
Well, yeah, you've already made the decision. You endorse Apple over.
And the moon has been was shot or was built.
Yes, who built the moon?
You know what? I seen a really fascinating movie the other day called Unthinkable. You ever hear about that?
Never.
With Samuel L. Jackson, he's an interrogator, and they bring him into it is awesome. You really need to see it. He's an interrogator that they bring in for the super, really filthy torture that they need to do. And the reason it's called Unthinkable is he's willing to do the unthinkable to get people to talk. When it's a time first of all, torture I think does work in the short term, but if you can't get something out of them in the first 6 to 8 hours, they're not giving. You know what I mean? Then you got to use regular because then it's just gonna be unreliable. But I think in the short term, like when Jack Bauer uses it, then it's fine.
Well, especially when he pulls out a gun, he says, "Look, I'm not going to hurt you." Pulls out a gun, shoots the guy in the leg, and then asks the guy the question.
Yeah, but he told him he wasn't going to hurt him.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. But I do believe that kind of torture is worthwhile, but I think regular good old-fashioned torture is kind of worthless because I don't know, if somebody tortured me, I would immediately just make up some shit right off the top of my head.
Well, unfortunately, that's the unreliable situation.
Right, that's why you got to use persuasionary devices. I just made up that word, persuasionary.
That was nice.
I think that should be a word, persuasionary.
What really defines torture? Everybody is tortured differently. I mean, if you made me listen to country music for a long period of time.
If you had to watch this whole podcast.
Yeah, for God's sakes. Again, a special place in heaven for each and every one of you.
What do you mean a special place in heaven?
A special place in heaven.
Why do you need if heaven's so good, why would you need a special place?
That's true. That was probably just a man-made construct. We have to go ahead and have a VIP club everywhere. Why wouldn't heaven be just a
but
why would
there be a VIP club in heaven?
Exactly. You're right.
I mean, that's kind of fucking against the whole point of heaven.
That's true. Well, it all has to do with who gave God more money down here on earth, right?
Yeah, that's preposterous. People. How about there's churches where you have to show them your bank statement, and you have to I was talking to my buddy the other day. He's the manager of the Flying Biscuit down there over. You've been to the Flying Biscuit down over there on Cobb Parkway, and there's
Cobb Parkway.
Yeah. No, not Cobb Parkway wanders down towards Paces Ferry, you can get on past.
Actually, I haven't been there.
Anyway,
I've been to the Whisker Biscuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're talking about it, and there's this big, giant, really nice church of some sort next door, and he was telling me that he has friends that go there that they actually have to show their bank statement and give 10% of their weekly paycheck to the church, or they get kicked out.
Phenomenal.
Who? I mean, how stupid can you be to think that really? What church? If the concept of God and giving and whatever and all that and compassion and taking care of your fellow man and all that, and what kind of awe and love and honor and where does that come in? And if you don't give me 10%, you're getting kicked out.
I'll tell you what. I want to know what they're getting for that 10%.
That's ludicrous.
What's in that church?
Yeah, a special place in heaven.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, that is the most far-fetched, biggest con job. I mean, that's just you might as well just go to the palm reader. Just go to the palm reader and or go find a snake charmer or something, a snake oil salesman for what ails you.
Just be careful if the snake is tied in a knot. It might not be a snake.
Yes, it might not be a snake.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say.
Excuse me.
But that to me is mind-boggling.
Hey, there's a lot of people who listen to what our government tells us and believes it too.
I believe everything the government tells us.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you would think about the concept of, first of all, why wouldn't you want to give a certain amount? If you wanted to just give to charity anyway,
Right.
wouldn't it be better if it came from your own heart as opposed to having a sergeant at arms of some sort?
Well, I'm just
or the church in general saying this is, you know, you're kicked out if you don't give 10%.
I'm bamboozled. Wait, I'm bamboozled by the fact that they're so bamboozled that they feel that the church would, like, what church would demand 10%?
Yeah.
Or 15% or 20% or whatever. Maybe the figure is even higher.
Yeah, well, I mean, 10% wouldn't that be what the idea behind tithing, of course. You know, tithing being 10% of your.
I know what a tithing is.
Giving it to God. You probably know. But
Don't explain to them. They let them look it up like a normal person.
Okay, fine.
You know, I already tried to enlighten them about the moon, and nobody cared.
You did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I did it as far from phenomenal as you could possibly get.
The articulation of the postulation.
Well, you know, I read this book like 3 months ago. That's why. But I'll try one more time.
Now?
No.
Okay.
Later. Just remember this about the moon, though, folks. That the moon is 400 times the size. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon. And I'm not going into this again. Suffice to say, it's an amazing book.
I believe you sparked some interest.
Yeah, I can't tell, because that's the only thing I don't like about the podcast blogging, video blogging business is there's no audience, so you have no idea what kind of response you're getting.
Why don't you give them your email address?
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, that's coming up real soon.
How would we get feedback?
Well, first of all, I don't know. I've never done a podcast, so I have to wait till it airs in the podcasting network. Oh, we have people texting us now.
Another country heard from.
What is this?
It looks like it's in...
Macumba esta noche con premium open bar. Muchachos entran gratis hasta... and the pay... Hold on. Media noche. Clases de salsa con salsas lovers. The 7 to 9 p.m. Sushi gratis. Oh, it's some sushi place in Miami.
I was going to say, that's a 305 area code. That's Florida, right?
Yeah, it's a sushi place in Miami that has some of the best sushi ever. Man, they like literally once every 6 months they text me with some goofiness, but they had plantain sushi. Oh, it was amazing.
Plantain sushi?
Yes, it was fantastic.
How did they do that?
They made some sushi with a plantain. Look at that.
That's probably wonderful.
How about that? So, anyway, what are we now? This is,
Do you think anybody's looking at their watch right about
now? No. Okay. I am. That's not my watch. This is my watch. See? You see? This is a wristband. And loco crazy, man. But, alright, let's tell a few more anecdotes, and then we'll call it a night. What was I going to say? Oh, no, I wasn't going to say that. Have you been to Disney World recently?
No.
I haven't been either. I heard it's really like, I want to see the Harry Potter Hogwarting thing.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, me too. It's been forever.
Give it a fillet.
Did you go when you were down at TNA?
Who went down to TNA?
Well, if you had gone down to TNA, would you have gone to the...
No, I wouldn't go to Disney. I would go to the Islands of Adventure. That's like a, you know...
What's the difference?
Well, Universal. You're talking Universal versus Disney. So, are you asking about Disney?
I don't know.
Well, where's the...
I want to go...
Where's the Harry Potter deal? Is that in
Disney? I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to Disney in a million years.
You know what happened? I stopped going to Disney because once I had... you get the ears, you get the little... you get the hat gimmick with the ears on it. And, it's a long time ago. And I have to say I was a little more brash and crass.
And foolhardy.
And foolhardy. And I asked the guy who would embroider your name on it, I asked, could you put Eat Me on the top of it? He wouldn't do it. I don't understand. He says, no, I can't do it. I said, oh, come on. You can do it. I was like, how much do you need? How much can I pay you? So that I could, have Eat Me embroidered on the top of my Mickey Mouse ears. Guy wouldn't go for it. And I haven't been back since. They have no sense of humor.
So, question. What did Cheech and Chong, remember in the first movie, Up in Smoke, he had the Mickey Mouse ears? Did he have Eat Me on his?
I don't remember. I did the Eat Me thing from the Eat Me mobile back in...
from Animal House.
Animal House. I just figured that would be fun.
I like that.
A lot of irony, walking around with the Mickey Mouse ears.
Yes, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Or a middle finger.
Yeah. Back in the day, before, that was a big thing.
You know,
Now you can't do anything on TV.
no, you can't. But that's your cross for bears.
Yeah.
That's how the saying. That's your cross to bear. But that's how the saying came from. That's the cross for bears. Because bears used to be more civilized, and they were they would give their 10% and go to the church, and that's why they would get a cross they would wear. But then they stopped paying, and then that's their cross for bears.
I mean, besides the Chicago Bears, what kind of bears are making money?
Well, no, they're just shitting in the woods.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I would think at that point they're really not. I mean, how much are they getting? 10% of their fecal matter, or is it maybe 10% of what they stored for the winter? Actually, they hibernate.
They hibernate for the winter. They don't store anything.
I mean, well, I think the bears are getting a free ride then.
Mm-hmm.
And they get across the boot. Oh, goodness.
No, they get across the bear.
Oh, the bear. Oh, boot, bear.
A boot. They're not from Canada.
No. Nice people.
Yes, they are.
They're so much more civilized than Americans.
It's about to fade out there.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Ah, there we go. Oh, the show almost went to sleep, just like the audience. The computer almost went to sleep, that is. All right, well, that's pretty much it for the blog, the podcast, whatever the fuck this is. Today you've heard some informative stuff. You learned about the moon being hollow. Hollow if you hear me. Well, actually, the moon not so much being hollow, but it being man-made or alien-made. Or God, or specific, somehow made specifically to make sure that humans would show up on Earth is basically the whole premise. Which maybe I forgot to mention at the beginning of it. I think if I would have said that would have been a lot clearer.
A lot more interesting.
Or interesting. And less sleep inducing. But no, my hair's.
That's looking.
Let me see.
That's nice.
Oh, now it looks damn good.
Awesome.
Now I look like I'm in a wind tunnel. Anyway, so basically, if the moon wasn't made the way it is, the size and the weight and where it is location-wise, there would be no people on Earth. And it's just, man, it's a fascinating read. You found out that some guy from some band died, and he was anti-Semitic. And then, and then my co-host, well, you said he was.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Oh, that's because you told me before the show.
No, well, listen. What we say before the show doesn't necessarily have to be aired like dirty laundry.
I know, but so is he an anti-Semitic?
I don't know. I said there's been some conjecture.
Well, I don't know. Don't blame me.
Oh, come on, you know all that.
I don't know.
Big four, man.
Anyway, we also saw that my masked co-host is guitar pick. That was one of the highlights of the show.
Absolutely.
Highlight of the show.
Listen, you got to bring props.
Props.
Besides books you can't explain.
I got my water bottle. That's a prop. I brought Proposition 10. That's 10 more propositions than you brought.
Well, I might bring my little pocket protector. No, I'm going to bring my pocket Constitution and Declaration of Independence next week. Nobody will show up. And we can talk about
people don't show up. They don't. The only people that have to show up are me and you. They just have to turn it on and listen.
Is that how that goes?
And tune in and watch the ratings fly, skyrocket.
Anyway,
we'll be here next week. Yes, we will. And no, I'm telling you, we will be here next week. This is going to be a weekly thing. I can't promise it'll be interesting or entertaining or any good, but we will be here next week. And if he's not here, I'll still be here since it's my podcast. He's just here to associate, assist, co-commentate, entertain me, aggravate me, elicit guffaws, ha-has, humor, Ed McMahon's, Vince McMahon, what's the other guy? Jim McMahon.
There's a bear. I wonder if he gives 10%.
He definitely shits in the woods.
Yeah, but does he give 10% to the church?
No, because it's not his cross to bear. Thank you and good night.
Bye-bye now.